Well, many have started paying for things with our phones, even watches.
One company, though, wants to take that technology to another level by implanting a chip in your hand.
Listen to this. Instead of carrying your wallet in your back pocket or your purse, a tech company wants you to keep it under your skin.
All right, so let's explain here. Walletmore is selling microchips implanted in your hand as an alternate payment. Could this be the future? Maybe.
The overseas company Walletmore is selling the microchip in parts of Europe. It's about the size of a grain of rice, goes under the skin. It's then activated using a digital wallet app.
And it'll be implanted, Julia, into your hand.
I don't know. I feel kind of creepy about this. I mean, they can track everything we do anyway, right?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. I ain't interested in it. Keep it away from me.
I just want to know how it affects your body.
Yeah, it can't be good. It can't be good to put some electronic device in your body and keep it there. Ooh-wee. Good luck with that.
Once the implant goes in, there are no refunds.
Right now, chips are not sold in the U.S. Crazy.
How convenient would be to pay at the cash register by simply showing your face or scanning a fingerprint? Well, this is now a reality in Sao Paulo, Brazil. MasterCard has launched a pilot program at 5 grocery stores in the South American city where customers can authenticate their identity using their biometric information. To pay at the checkout, customers simply look at the terminal, which scans their face using facial recognition software, or place their finger on the fingerprint scanner. No PIN, no tap and go, just a smile or a wave of the hand. Customers will need to upload a photograph of their face or a scan of their fingerprint and link that to their MasterCard account. The pilot program is an attempt by MasterCard to break into the contactless biometrics market, which is expected to be worth about $18 billion by 2026. The scheme has raised concerns over customer privacy and how the data is collected and stored. MasterCard say the system's secure. Would you do it? I'm not so sure.
Starting today, you can pay for your groceries at a local store with the palm of your hand.
That's interesting.
Yes.
The Whole Foods store on Arbor Trails is introducing Amazon One.
Move over, Apple Pay. Amazon is trying to muscle its way into your digital wallet.
Amazon is ramping up its contactless payment system nationwide that works by scanning the palm of your hand right there.
And you have to scan both of your palms like the guy's doing right there, put in your phone number, then when you go back to the store in future visits, you just need to hover over it.
That's right, and you don't need to have your card at all. Whole Foods plans to add Amazon One to its stores at the Domain and other parts of Austin, Bee Cave, and Cedar Park. What do you guys think? The future is here!
The mark is here. Iran is set to be the first country to roll out a biometric digital ID needed in order to buy food. Needed in order to eat. Right? Needed in order to survive. You must go get your digital ID from the government. The same digital ID that central banks are telling us is needed in order to roll out the central bank digital currencies. The same digital ID that the World Economic Forum establishes is at the very crux of this fourth industrial revolution. Yeah, all of that. Now you need to go get your ID in order to eat. Now there's some interesting details about the way Iran is implementing this that I want to walk through today, because I think this is a bellwether for how it's going to be rolled out around the rest of the world. And make no mistake, this is food rationing based on your digital ID. So read down here. You're able to buy as much bread as you want, but if you want to get the subsidized prices, then you're going to need the ID. Then you'll have access to, quote, a limited amount of bread at subsidized prices. And you can keep buying the rest at market rates if you want, right? You can buy as much bread for $1 million a loaf as you want. But for the 50% of Iran that lives below the poverty line, that's not an option, right? Their only option is to go get in line and accept this mark, this digital biometric ID, to which
digitalization of money requires a digital ID for all the people that would use that financial system. And this is part of the big rub with this whole thing. A digital ID, a digital identity, doesn't simply mean that you have now some kind of a new, like a driver's license, with a chip in it. That's not what this is talking about. Digital identity means that you can be identified in such a way to attach all of your history, your activity, and your future to one single point that represents you. Digital identity means total loss of privacy, total revealing of every conceivable activity that you could be involved with, all tied to one identity, so that wherever you move in the world, you can be known, and that additional transaction history of your travels will be recorded. A lot of people talk about how great Bitcoin is, for instance, but in the case of Bitcoin, you have a blockchain technology that underpins Bitcoin and puts all of the transactions into what they call a blockchain, where there is no transparency either. It just happens to be distributed, but where there's no one central place it's stored, but you can still look into anybody's blockchain and see exactly who did what, when, where, how, etc. The central banks are intending to create a digital currency that will use blockchain to collect with all of the pieces of information in it, but it will be flashed back to a central computer at the central bank, and it will be stored under your digital identity. That will be able to be analyzed using artificial intelligence software, where they can predict your behavior, and if they don't like the behavior that's predicted, they can modify your behavior before you commit that behavior that's unwanted. This is the essence of scientific dictatorship in the end. Whoever controls the data controls the object of the data. In other words, where it was collected from. So if the central banks are able to collect all of the financial data plus all of the other transactional data, so say you buy a house, for instance. You buy a house, well, there's a blockchain transaction that's generated with that. It's not, you paid money for it, but still the title is recorded in blockchain. That can also be flashed back to your digital identity. So all the parties are known, they're in the computer now, and can be analyzed. Wherever you might go, wherever you might show up, whatever you did on social media, tags where you are, or who you're with, or whatever. All of that information can be transmitted back to be attached to, in blockchain form, attached to your digital identity. So we say that wherever the data is collected from, whoever has that data in their hands will control the source of the data. That means the people from whom it comes. They're intending to do this to the whole planet. The whole planet. It's inconceivable that it's this big. There's 7.5 billion people on the planet, and they want everybody into the system. And you'll see the language, for instance, at the United Nations over and over: no person left behind. No person left behind. No child left behind. We heard that in education here in America. No person left behind. It must be an inclusive system, they say. Well, what that really means is, if you're not in it, we will help you along the way to make sure you get at it one way or another, right? So this is why that we're being driven right now towards this digital system. And it's much bigger than just a matter of replacing the dollar or any other national currency. It's likely going to happen all at the same time, not in stages, whatever, but probably just going to appear one day and say it's necessary now, we must do this now. And they'll do it now. And that would be the end of the old currency system. That would be the beginning of a new currency system.